Hi folks, this is just probably one as part two of how to create a sort of a casing for a power tool, which you could use in theory for creating casings for other things. To do this, I've actually used the 3D warehouse, and I have sort of imported and downloaded this sort of power drill as a component. Now what I need to do is I need to downsize this if I want to actually do this as a scaled, well, a one-to-one scale, because this is actually at the moment sort of 2 meters large in SketchUp. What I've done is I've drawn a little kind of guide down here, which I've got measurements off the internet of normal size of a power drill. So I'm just going to make this a component. I've drawn this out. I'm going to make that a component just as a sort of a size guide. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and try and join this together with this. So what I'm going to do is just move this over corner to corner so that this is kind of goes into that corner there, and I'm going to use the scale tool to scale this down so that it's this size. And just having that guide, you know, the X, Y, Z coordinates, that really helps to just get something down to as close as possible to the correct size. That is absolutely fine. Okay, great. So we've got our tool. We've got we can now get rid of this component here. I'm going to delete that away. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just lay this on its side, because I want to actually draw things on the side of it. So to do that, I'm just going to rotate it, which I can do here. Very good. Just go to the top of the box here, would be good. And let's do that 90. Great. Okay, so that's kind of laying flat on the floor, if you like. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to raise it up a little bit as well, so it's just off of the floor. That way I can kind of draw things underneath it. So remember, you see that the blue axis line coming up, and I'm going to bring it up, I think, let's say 30, because if I think about the inner shell for the casing of my power drill, then basically it is about, I'd say about 3 centimeters. So what I'm going to do, I've got this now on the ground. I think what I'll do is I'll just go to use the clapperboard, and I'll go plan view. Let's see if I can kind of get a better view of this. I want to kind of maybe turn this around. Okay, great. So that's kind of good enough. And what I'm going to do is, maybe it's best if I just do it upside down. I'm going to draw out sort of like a case for this, and maybe a battery as well. So I'm going to draw out a case, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if this works. If it does, it would be super easy. No, it doesn't. So what I'd like to do is draw an outline around this, and in fact I think I'll probably have to. So what I'm going to do on this square is just draw as close as possible. I could in theory just do like a direct outline, but I don't want to do that. Now later on I can adjust this, I can add curves in, I can edit my line. I'm not measuring it as I go, I'm just kind of following the shape as best as I can. I'm sure there's more practical ways of doing this, but this is the way I've chosen to do it today. Great. Okay, that's done. So what I could do is I could go in and sort of edit my lines, for example there and there, and just get rid of additional lines. Now I'm just going to very quickly measure. Here's my ruler. Just measure sort of 3 fingers, which is about sort of 60 millimeters, and I'm just going to look at certain areas where I might want to pull this out, and I'm going to put in a little box here, which is, oh wow, it's connecting to that nicely. So if we put in 60, what happens? Okay, that's fine. Let's see if we can move this over a little bit. No, it's not happening. I think I'll undo. And what I'll do here, roughly I think 60, if I go from this line to here, that's about 63. That's actually perfect. I think I'll use that. And what's happening there, I think it's snapping to, what I think I'll do is I'll just use a box actually and draw it along here. It's beforehand. I think I'll actually try doing it like this. Yeah, I prefer to do it like this because that actually snaps along parallel to that line, which is really nice. Okay, I'm just going to put in also a 2-point arc just to add in some sort of slightly more curved edges to this, because you've got to make it ergonomic if you can. These should be symmetrical. I'm just doing this at speed. Oops. Right, and I'm just going to rub these out. You could carry on doing this all around the shape. It's going to become clear in a moment why I've done this here. Alright. What I'm doing essentially is I'm creating a sort of a vacuum formed case for this. I might also want to put some support struts inside as well. And as you can see, this is just floating off of the ground. That's absolutely fine. I'm going to sort that out in just a moment. I might want to, for example, let's just go back to this view, just makes it a lot easier to draw lines, is to include, maybe there's a space there for a battery as well. Maybe there's some spaces here for drill bits. Okay, alright. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to push-pull the base of this up. And now you can start to see how this fits inside. And you can also see, and I'm just going to bring this up a bit as well. Let's bring this up, what, 30, wasn't it? And the drill should be, maybe it's actually kind of sitting on that, I'm not sure. Bring this up 30 as well. Bring this up 30 as well. Let's just do wireframe. So if we go to scenes, the wireframe, we can actually see inside if there's any collisions occurring between the drill. No, it's actually sitting perfectly. As you can see, it's sitting perfectly on that inside line. That's nice. Oh, maybe not actually. No, that's gone up and above and beyond. There are slightly different heights in this, and I'd need to resolve that by maybe splitting the inside and having different heights on it. But you get the general idea. And that, if you, for example, oh yeah, you can see actually where it's kind of come through. So I'll just pull this down a bit, and that should be fine. And there you go. That is like literally a very, very super quick sort of shell. Now, in theory, if you were doing this in school, this would be a mold that you would make, and afterwards what you would do is you would vacuum form this. Yeah. So I'm going to just imagine that this is vacuum formed. How am I going to imagine this is vacuum formed? Literally by deleting away the bottom shelf. So that would be a shell that is actually holding the drill in place. And if it were to be vacuum formed, let's just go above again, we would probably use paint bucket tool. Got any plastics here? Synthetic surfaces. What's that? Just use that. Or maybe like a dark color. What I'd also like to do is something like foam, which is like made up of these triangles. So that is showing like an ergonomic feature as well, like a finger pull. And obviously this could be more curved and rounded, but that's the general idea. You take an object, you trace around it, you're using different elevations and views to help you with that. You're using the line tool, you're using what I prefer to use, the 2-point arc, because I just find it more manageable, and you're creating additional compartments. What I'd like to show you how to do next is the case that goes around this and the details of the case, such as the hinges and the clasps. Hope that's helped. Bye.